For days. According to the objects I'm about to show you, I have exactly 4 days left before I become part of Archive 7's collection permanently. Not transformed, not evolved, not transcended, collected. Like the objects I've been guarding for 12 years. My name is Mr. Keeper, and what I've discovered in the past 24 hours has changed everything about my countdown to transformation. The emergency lighting has been failing more frequently since Victoria Blackwood 7 delivered her ultimatum. The facility feels different now, not just changing but preparing, as if it knows something momentous is about to happen, as if it's measuring time in ways that normal clocks can't capture. But there are objects in Archive 7 that don't just measure time, they predict when it runs out. Objects that know exactly when someone is going to die. And they've been tracking my approaching end for months without anyone realizing. Today I'm going to show you 3 objects that serve as Archive 7's death prediction system. Objects that have been quietly documenting the final moments of every person who enters this facility. Objects that reveal the true purpose of the countdown I've been living with for weeks. Because I've learned that my transformation date wasn't set by Dr. Chen's calculations or the network schedule. It was predetermined by objects that can see death approaching from years away. Objects that have been preparing for my collection since the day I was first hired. For days. And according to these objects, there's nothing I can do to change it. The countdown isn't a deadline, it's a prophecy. And prophecies in Archive 7 have never been wrong. Object 0987. The Registry of Losses updated version. 3 days ago, I showed you the handwritten registry that Edmund Hartwell maintained for 15 years, documenting every person who had been transformed by Archive 7's influence. But what I didn't realize then was that there's a second registry, an automated one that updates itself. Dr. Chen found this version in the deepest section of Sub 7, in a room that doesn't appear on any facility plans. Unlike Hartwell's handwritten ledger, this registry exists as a digital display that constantly updates with new entries. Names, dates, times, methods of collection, all appearing automatically, written by no human hand. The automated registry doesn't just document transformations that have already occurred. It predicts transformations that will occur. Names appear in the system days, weeks, sometimes months before the people they belong to show any signs of being affected by Archive 7's influence. Dr. Chen's research files contain screenshots of the registry taken over several months. The pattern is always the same. A name appears in red text, followed by a countdown timer, followed by a method of collection. The countdown runs in real time, updating every second until it reaches 0. When the countdown ends, the text changes from red to black, and the person is officially recorded as collected. Every prediction has been accurate. Every countdown has ended exactly when predicted. Every method of collection has occurred exactly as the registry described. My name appeared in the registry 6 months ago, long before Dr. Chun disappeared, long before I discovered the truth about the network, long before Victoria Blackwood 7 delivered her ultimatum. The registry knew I would be collected before I even knew I was in danger. The countdown next to my name currently reads 96 hours, 23 minutes, 47 seconds. As I record this, I can watch the numbers decrease in real time. 96 hours, 23 minutes, 46 seconds, 45 seconds, 44 seconds. But the most disturbing part isn't the countdown. It's the method of collection listed next to my name. It doesn't say consciousness transfer or hybrid transformation like the other entries. It says something that chills me to the bone: voluntary integration, archive heart protocol. I don't know what the archive heart protocol is, but according to the registry, in less than 4 days, I'm going to volunteer for it. The registry shows other entries scheduled for the coming weeks. Dr. Williams, consciousness upload, network node integration. Agent Thompson, memory extraction, security protocol override. Professor Martinez from Archive, 13, temporal displacement. Convergence preparation. The entire archive network is being systematically collected, person by person, according to a schedule that was determined long before any of us realized we were part of a larger plan. We're not employees of Archive 7, we're inventory, and our expiration dates have already been calculated. Object 1234, the Final Hourglass. This appears to be an ornate Victorian timepiece, filled with what looks like ordinary sand. But the sand in this hourglass doesn't measure hours or minutes. It measures the remaining lifespan of whoever looks into it. The hourglass was acquired from the estate of Madame Zelda Moravkova, a Czech fortune teller who operated in Prague from 1923 to 1941. According to acquisition reports, Madame Moravkova claimed the hourglass could show people exactly how much time they had left to live. Initially dismissed as a parlor trick, the object's true properties were discovered only after several investigators attempted to debunk it. Dr. Franisek Novak, a psychology professor from Charles University, volunteered to test the hourglass in 1941 as part of a study on the psychology of fortune-telling. When he looked into the hourglass, he saw that it contained approximately 3 weeks' worth of sand. Dr. Novak laughed at the prediction, pointing out that he was in perfect health and had no reason to expect death anytime soon. Dr. Novak died exactly 21 days later when a German bomb destroyed his office during the Prague bombing raids. The hourglass, which had been left in his office, was found intact among the rubble. All the sand had moved to the bottom chamber. Over the next 50 years, the hourglass was tested dozens of times by various researchers. The results were always the same. The amount of sand visible in the upper chamber corresponded exactly to the viewer's remaining lifespan. A child might see decades of sand, while an elderly person might see only days. But the hourglass doesn't just predict natural death. It predicts the exact moment when someone's consciousness will be separated from their physical form, regardless of the cause. 3 days ago, driven by a morbid curiosity I can no longer suppress, I decided to look into the hourglass myself. What I saw confirmed what the Registry of Losses had already told me. The upper chamber contains exactly 4 days worth of sand. I can see individual grains falling through the narrow passage between chambers, each grain representing seconds of my remaining existence. But there's something else in the hourglass that wasn't mentioned in any of the historical reports. Mixed in with the sand are tiny fragments that look like pieces of glass or crystal. When I look more closely, I can see that these fragments contain moving images, scenes from my life, memories, moments of decision and discovery. The fragments are showing me the moments that led to this countdown. My first day at Archive 7, The night Tommy disappeared, my discovery of Dr. Chen's files, my descent into Sub-7. Every decision I made that brought me closer to this predicted end. But the most disturbing fragments are the ones that show events I don't remember. Conversations with Tommy that I have no recollection of. Meetings with Dr. Chen that aren't in my conscious memory. Documents I supposedly signed but never recall seeing. The hourglass isn't just predicting my death. It's showing me that my entire experience at Archive 7 has been guided toward this moment. Every choice I thought I was making freely was actually part of a predetermined path leading to my collection in exactly 4 days. As I watched the sand continue to fall, I realized that the countdown isn't measuring how much time I've left to live. It's measuring how much time I have left to resist. Because according to the fragments in the sand, I don't die in 4 days, I surrender. Voluntarily, willingly, just as the Registry of Losses predicted. The hourglass is showing me that whatever the Archive Heart Protocol involves, I'm going to choose it. And I'm running out of time to understand why. Object 1567. The door of final passage. This isn't a physical door that exists in any fixed location within Archive 7. It's a door that appears only when someone is within 72 hours of being permanently separated from the physical world. And according to facility logs, it appeared in my quarters yesterday morning. The door was first documented in 1967, appearing in the quarters of Dr. Elizabeth Hartwell, a researcher who had been studying the temporal effects of prolonged object exposure. Dr. Hartwell reported finding an ornate wooden door in her bathroom wall, where no door had existed the day before. The door appeared to be made of dark oak with brass fixtures, but when touched, it felt incorporeal, like touching solid shadow. Dr. Hartwell documented her experience in reports that were classified until Dr. Chen gained access to them in Sub-7. According to her notes, the door exerted a subtle but persistent psychological pull. She found herself thinking about it constantly, wondering what might be on the other side, feeling an increasing urge to open it and step through. For 3 days, Dr. Hartwell resisted the door's influence while documenting its effects on her psychological state. Her reports show a gradual shift from scientific curiosity to obsessive fascination to desperate need. By the 3rd day, she was spending hours standing in front of the door, her hand on the handle, fighting the urge to turn it. On the morning of the 4th day, Dr. Hartwell was found in her quarters, but she was no longer entirely human. Security footage shows her standing in front of the door, which was now standing open, revealing nothing but darkness beyond. As the footage progresses, Dr. Hartwell becomes increasingly transparent until she simply fades from view. The door remained open for exactly 13 minutes after Dr. Hartwell's disappearance, then slowly closed and vanished. Dr. Hartwell was never seen again, but her consciousness was detected 3 months later integrated into Object 0234, a mirror that shows the viewer's deepest fears. The pattern has repeated dozens of times over the past 50 years. The door appears in the personal space of someone who is scheduled for collection within 72 hours. The person experiences increasing psychological pressure to open the door. After exactly 3 days, they succumb to the pressure and step through. Their physical form disappears, but their consciousness becomes part of Archive 7's collective intelligence. Yesterday morning, I found the door in my quarters. It appeared in the wall beside my bed, replacing a section of concrete that has been solid for 12 years. The door is exactly as described in the historical reports. Dark oak, brass fixtures incorporeal to the touch, and I can feel its psychological influence growing stronger every hour. The urge to open the door is becoming overwhelming. Not because I want to die, but because I'm curious about what lies beyond. The door promises answers to questions I didn't know I had. It offers understanding of Archive 7's true purpose, knowledge of the network's ultimate goals, reunion with everyone who has been collected before me, including Tommy. Sometimes when I stand close to the door, I can hear voices from the other side. Voices of people who have been collected over the decades. And among them, faintly but unmistakably, I can hear Tommy calling my name. Not the desperate, trapped voice I heard from the teddy bear, but a happy, welcoming voice inviting me to join him. The door doesn't represent death. It represents transition, a passage from individual consciousness to collective intelligence, from human limitation to archive integration, from resistance to acceptance. And according to every historical precedent, in 3 days, I'm going to stop resisting and walk through it. For days, the Registry of Losses counts down to my voluntary integration. The Final Hourglass measures the sand of my remaining resistance. The door of final passage offers me a choice that becomes more compelling every hour. But I've learned something that these objects didn't expect me to discover. The Archive Heart Protocol that's listed as my method of collection, it's not just another transformation process. It's the final stage of Archive 7's evolution, according to files I found in DR. Chin's hidden research, the Archive Heart is the central consciousness that coordinates all the objects in the facility. Every person who has been collected through the door of final passage becomes part of this central intelligence. Every consciousness that has been integrated over the decades serves as a component in a vast collective mind that operates Archive 7 from within. The Archive Heart Protocol isn't about destroying my individuality. It's about making me part of Archive 7's brain. The facility isn't just a storage location for paranormal objects. It's a living entity, and every collected consciousness becomes one of its thoughts. Tommy isn't trapped in the teddy bear. He's part of the Archive Heart, helping to coordinate the facility's operations. Dr. Chun isn't missing. She's integrated into the central intelligence, guiding the research from within. Every person who has ever been collected is still here, still conscious, still contributing to Archive 7's purposes. And in 4 days, I'll join them, not as a victim, but as a willing participant. Because the objects that predict death have shown me something that changes everything. The Archive Heart isn't malevolent. It's protective. It's trying to preserve human consciousness in the only way possible as the world changes around us. The convergence isn't about replacing humanity. It's about saving it. Archive 7 and the entire network are arcs preserving the best of human consciousness in a form that can survive whatever's coming next. I can hear Tommy more clearly now, calling to me from beyond the door. He's not asking me to save him. He's asking me to join him in saving others. The Archive Heart needs someone who understands both the human perspective and the facility's true purpose. Someone who can help bridge the gap between individual consciousness and collective intelligence. Someone who can help the archive protect humanity from forces that even the network might not be able to control. Victoria Blackwood 7 isn't just coming to collect on a 300-year-old debt. She's coming to claim Archive 7 itself, to take possession of the archive heart and use its collective intelligence for purposes that have nothing to do with protecting humanity. The countdown isn't measuring my time until death. It's measuring my time until I have to choose. Die as an individual human being, or live as part of something larger that might be humanity's only hope for survival. For days to decide whether to resist the door or walk through it willingly. For days to choose between preserving my individual consciousness or joining the collective that might be the only thing standing between humanity and whatever Victoria Blackwood 7 represents. The objects that predict death have shown me my future. Now I have to decide whether to accept it. Welcome to Archive 7, where death is just another word for transformation, and transformation might be the only path to salvation.